All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. This is Seattle Pandemonium Shutdown, day 415 by my count. So what's going on? What's going down? Well, let me try to explain these two. There's like two instances of cancel culture rearing their ugly heads once again, and as per usual, it's stupid. I guess it's like bored people have nothing to do, want to feel real great about themselves. So, a young man was working like a late shift at a Holiday Inn behind the counter, checking in guests or whatever, and had some kind of issue with a customer trying to check in, and they couldn't check in or something. And so this guy starts to film this young man, and the young man begins to have a kind of, you could call it sort of like a tantrum. It was sort of a psychotic episode. Like he bashes his own head on the computer monitor, and he's like sobbing. He's like, my life is over. And then he like goes and kind of like hides around a corner. And it's, some kind of mental illness, really. I mean, it's not just like somebody mad. It's like this person has some kind of issues. Well, the video is going viral as this kid is being racist against this guy because the guy is black. And then you find that there's like Reddit posts from this kid, and I say kid, he gets 20 something, whatever, describing how he has like this history of mental illness and stuff, and now he's like quitting his job and just kind of spiraling into a meltdown. And it's like, yeah, I don't think this is racism, guys. I think this is a weird kid who has some kind of developmental issues, doesn't know how to manage their emotions for whatever reason, chemical or, socialized or whatever. And he's just not great at working with the public, which, of course, if you're going to have a customer-facing job, you should know how to talk to people and maintain your composure. But that's not what happened. And so we have this, non-controversy of some kid having a psychotic breakdown because he doesn't handle pressure very well. And now you're making him famous, and, if he decides that he's gonna, engage in self-harm, that's like on all of you for jumping on board the cancel wagon, right? Now let's go to a second one, and this one is a little more like, it's stupid. It's also stupid, but it's one of these ones that people can kind of like defend it, It's a guy, was it a dad? And he's at the prom in Knoxville or Nashville, or I forget exactly where. So this is why you come to me for the hard-hitting, facts and analysis, because I always get it all right every time. And this guy is, they say, and Twitter is used for this purpose all the time. It was used in the Sandman thing with the kids at the Capitol Hill with the MAGA hats and all the blah, blah, blah. A clip, in that case, a clip with just the video showing just the kids. There's no audio. It was like 12 seconds long of this kid sort of smirking. And the tweet gave the context. That was also fake context. But it said, these kids were yelling racial slurs at this Indian. And then here's the smirking child, and you go, and it goes crazy, and mainstream news outlets repeating this nonsense, people threatening these kids, and then full video comes out like that's not the context at all. So similar thing. So this guy's at the prom, I don't know, is he a chaperone, whatever, and there's a young man, see, I'm gonna get in trouble for misgendering, because that's what they're accusing this guy of doing, is like misgendering this kid. He's wearing a dress to prom, and the dad is sort of like smirking at him, kind of like, he says, he's like, do you think I look good? And the guy's just kind of like, yeah, I don't know, I think you look like an idiot. And so then they're turning it into this LGBT rights thing, and people are basically doxing him. They found his business, his company he works for, and his wife, and then they're digging up everything to try to get this guy canceled. And it's just like, this is not the way And people like Kathy Griffin, who's just kind of an awful human being, she's jumping on board for her brownie points. This is not the relationship that you want to have with, like, the straights, you guys. Like, if you're an LGBT activist person, angry mobs ruining your life as a means of enforcing your, like, your new gender and pronoun and, you know, gender identity acceptance regime is a really, really bad look. Like, that's okay, like, intimidation, coercion, potentially actual threats of violence and harm, because it's free to basically make certain kinds of threats. So people will do it because, again, like, they're bored, they got nothing to do, and this is the scapegoat, the sacrificial lamb of the day. But it's being tied to your movement, and it's all bundled together as one slogan, like, or like one acronym, LGBT. So it's all the same thing to people who, like, don't know and don't care, which is actually kind of everyone. Like, this is a wildly tiny minority in society that has the self-righteous anger of all these other sort of activists who think they're doing a good thing and helping out, like, transgender or trans identity by ruining the life of somebody who isn't all on board with the program, right? As far as we can tell from the video, I don't think he really even said anything to the kid other than, like, no, I think you look dumb, or I think you look like an idiot. Because it's a boy wearing a dress. Sorry. This is just, like, I will say normal people. Like, regular people are, like, aware maybe that there are, like, homosexuals and transgendered people, but you probably don't necessarily know any. Or if you do, it's not like a huge thing. It's not like everything about your relationship with that person relates to that. They are an employee, they're a coworker, they're a neighbor, whatever. So they're not consumed by all the, like, minutia of all this stuff. And if a kid wore a dress to prom when I was in high school, they would have been made fun of ruthlessly forever, unless they were one of those dudes that could sort of pull it off as, like, a joke, sort of. It would still be weird, but it might be possible to pull it off as kind of like a gag. But this kid didn't seem to be doing that. This kid seemed to be, like, kind of committing to the bit that it's, you know, that it's a legitimate form of dress and that the father is being bigoted or whatever. And it's just so asinine. These are like entitled children who gain a little bit of power. They know they can, like, get someone in trouble with an angry mob on the internet. And again, I think that does more harm than good to the overall movement. But, you know, I'm not an activist. Maybe this stuff does work, and we would rather people be frightened and intimidated into adopting whatever language prescriptions you come up with for this week or next week, and everyone will just keep going along with it. But I'm telling you, people have a limit of what they're going to. We can't even get America to adopt a metric system. And you want to go mucking about with all of our, like, gender identity language and whose hierarchies of what are, you know, punishing who for what, and who has control over it. Please. And people, I'm telling you, I've probably said this a million times. It's cancel culture. People say there's no cancel culture, there's just consequence culture. Yeah, well, one day those consequences are going to come for you because you said the wrong thing. You had the wrong opinion, and enough people get mad that you wake up with the purge on your front lawn. And they will have all the signs and slogans and hashtags, and they'll get hold of your boss and find where your kids are. Like, they will do all this stuff. Surprised they haven't done it to me more. They did it to me a little bit, but I've got a little bit of OPSEC. Anyways, I don't say anything that controversial. I mean, sometimes I think I am, but I haven't been canceled yet. Maybe this will do it. I don't know. But yeah, so the internet being used for basically what the internet has become known for being used for, which is harassing private citizens for not conforming to, the woke mob. Which, again, it means that this will never end. There will always be another thing. Someone will have the wrong take about guns or Biden or Kamala Harris. A podcaster had the police come to his house because he made a joke about that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. He made a joke about her on his podcast, and they had the police at his house. I mean, think about that. Like, how crazy is that? Like, out of all the things the police need to be spending their time on, people joking about a stupid politician on a podcast is not one of them. Not only should it not be one of them, that's illegal. We have freedom of speech in this country. And no, he wasn't making a threat or anything. So no, it's just, this is so, we're so far into this, and for some reason, like, I don't know where all this energy comes from, right? Like juggalos, right? I understand why there are still juggalos. Well, in the before time anyway, like Insane Clown Posse. Like, they did shows, they did, games and albums and movies, and they do their Gathering of the Juggalos thing, and these guys all have kind of their own little community of people. I get where the energy comes from. I get why there are, like, Taylor Swift fans, right? Like, why you would go to her shows and everything. I get where that energy comes from. What I don't get is where this energy comes from to just ruin someone's life because they might have been mean to some kid that's wearing a dress and identifies maybe as transgender in some tiny town somewhere. This isn't some mayor or a governor or a president, like our pudding brain president mumbling incoherently and saying stupid stuff. No. This is just some dude who's a dad who's like, yeah, whatever. I don't have to tolerate this nonsense. And he doesn't. But until the angry mob gets him fired from his job or whatever. And businesses, you guys got to start just not folding to this nonsense. No one's doing anything wrong, okay? Like, let me say that. I'll assert that. 99.9% of people are not doing anything wrong 99.9% of the time. Yes, that includes if you think they're misgendering you or some other thing. They're living their own life that has nothing to do with yours. Literally nothing whatsoever, and yours has nothing to do with theirs. Just stop it. My goodness. All right. Life is returning. Summer is upon us, boys and girls. That's for Monday. That's it for me for Monday. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.